After the beautiful tribute that was the Ferrari Enzo, the world had to wait more than 10 years to encounter a new Ferrari supercar. But eventually, the next generation arrived, and once again, caught everybody off guard. I'm talking about a car named La Ferrari. Ferrari in English, which is currently waiting for you north of Maui. I'll let you drive there. Then we'll talk some more.
LaFerrari is the first Ferrari we have with an hybrid engine. If you come to our museum and you have the possibility of comparing and seeing the LaFerrari engine
It's 2013, and a new supercar emerges from the Maranello factory. It's 2013, and a new supercar emerges from the Maranello factory. In an era of astonishingly intense competition, Ferrari still treated their rivals to a true tour de force, a car that reshuffled the cards yet again. The strongest naturally aspirated Ferrari V12 to date, marking Ferrari's first steps into hybrid technology. For the first time in the company's history, petrol and electric working together full-time to deliver unprecedented levels of performance. And on top of all that, LaFerrari sports an F1 kinetic energy recovery system that constantly recaptures waste energy, stores it, and converts it into bursts of power when needed. Ferrari, some lucky people got to witness technology peak improvements at both ends of the spectrum. Higher performance, lower consumption. Glorious achievement. Most civilized, but also the fastest and most exhilarating road car ever made by the prancing horse, LaFerrari. This was LaFerrari, the fifth and ultimate Ferrari supercar. Or is she? See, not so long ago, we would have called it a day on this playlist, right about here. After all, LaFerrari was the last supercar ever made, the final word in Ferrari supercars. But that's not true anymore. In 2024, Ferrari shook the automotive world once again by revealing the sixth, the Ferrari F80. An exciting time to be alive, isn't it? You should head back to the Ferrari Museum. Believe me when I tell you that something brilliant is about to be set in motion.
What makes Ferrari so unique? It is mainly the people. The people make the difference. And as Enzo Ferrari used to say, factories are made of wall, machinery, and people. Ferrari is made of people mainly. The people and the sense of belonging to Ferrari is something I think that is difficult to find in other companies, in other places. Our brand is the only brand that has such a strong passion. Thanks to the passion that is in the brand, the technology, the effort that the people put behind this brand and behind building a new car, the next one is the best.
Ferrari is a legendary sports car brand, born from the passion of a man. A passion for driving and racing. A passion for speed and competition. With the will to build cars, each one better than the last. Throughout the decades, this racing DNA never faded away. It informs every single decision made by the prancing horse. It fuels the relentless drive to explore car technology, to push it beyond and make it evolve, to design the most incredible cars in the world. Jewels of the road, champions of the racetrack. Ferrari. It is cars that have become pop culture icons. Cars that share a special bond with millions of people. Whether you own a Ferrari or not, the name Ferrari rings like no other. It impacts and fascinates children and grown-ups alike. It is part of a collective consciousness. Ferrari cars are a vector for dreams. They're modern legends, both real and mythical in a way. They're an idea of what a sports car is, in both fiction and reality. Ferrari is, and this is putting it mildly, the epitome of luxury cars. With design that combines rage and glamour, each Ferrari is a piece of art. And from the higher end of the splendor spectrum, each drive is a statement. Essence of the racing spirit, pop culture phenomenon, state-of-the-art ambassador. The combination of all these attributes made Ferrari a car brand that reached millions of people and brought them together. People that have, over the decades, formed a community like no other. Devout, passionate, dedicated. Because once again, no need to own a Ferrari to be part of the Ferrari world. Through almost 80 years, Ferrari has shaped car history. And as I speak, it is shaping its future. A new chapter of the Ferrari supercars story is being written. Its title? F80.
It's a challenge to keep the legacy of the Ferrari brand alive. Thanks to the passion that is in the brand, the technology, the effort that the people put behind this brand and behind building a new car, the next one is the best. I hope you enjoyed driving our cars. They are unique, but why not come to our museum and see the real thing? Come and live the dream and come to the Ferrari museums. Arrivederci.
This was our exclusive Ferrari experience. Now, time to get your reward. Back to where we left off. This is not the last time you'll be handling bikes in this playlist. You're going for another rugged ride with another four-wheeled vehicle. Also, it's going to be a night one, so keep your eyes peeled. follows their driver. Commentary track on. And well, please keep in mind that what you hear in these audio tracks are authentic, spontaneous reactions of our specialist. Recorded in the heat of the moment and shared with you for a truly authentic experience.
Entry 6. The night is dark and troubling. I've been running on an empty stomach for days now. And tonight the mighty forces of Hawaii may get me after all. Ominous plants and lurking beasts, thinking they can finally get a piece of old Pierce. But no way. I must complete my task. Gotta climb that hill to get an overview. I may have found a good spot for yet another ride, but not sure I have enough strength remaining to see this through. More water. I'm in it up to my neck. Damn it. Structures seem solid enough, but I need to keep my eyes peeled. There could be cracks or holes anywhere, and my attention is failing. Come on, stay awake, P.S. old boy. You're not out of the woods yet. Didn't I already climb that hill? Damn it. I think I'm going in circles. That's it. I think hunger and exhaustion are getting to me. I'm starting to see things. I see goats in the sky. Tall, majestic creatures. They're like gladiators battling across the firmament. Marvelous. Wait a second. What forsaken country am I in? I'm losing it. Pierce's log final entry. If anyone's listening, these are probably my last words. I'm nearing starvation here. Might be about to embark on my last journey. It's okay. I've lived a full life, a beautiful adventure. Oh! A Turkish delight! I've just found a massive stash of sweets under the passenger seat. All right, I'm back and feeling more alive than ever. Must be this sugar rush. Let's finish this. All I need now is to come up with a car suggestion. Weird visions I had back there. Gladiators in the skies. Silly me. Eureka! The Jeep Gladiator. That's the one. It was here all along. The Jeep as the fighter, the wilderness for its arena. Tell me, listeners, are you not entertained?
Well, that was interesting. Getting closer to the tail end of the playlist. I hope this has been inspiring so far, driver. Told you you'd get to ride bikes again, right? Well, here it is. You're in for another biker event. Has specified the KTM 450 yet again. He must be quite fond of that machine. Let's see if you will feel the same after this.
Entry number 7. What a great night. See? That's what I like about these wild escapades. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm ready to move on. I'm currently driving on the edge of the mountains, and I think this is a route that calls for a bike. Let's see what happens if I keep following the ridge. Well, that's settled. This is going to be a bike event. I reckon they should stick with the KTM 450 here. The Austrian queen of the Enduro Kingdom, with its original competition look this time. Those guys know a thing or two about uneven terrain. I can see the Motorfest grounds from here. Glorious! To take a little bathroom break before carrying on, and I happened to notice something a little peculiar. Bear prints all over the trail. Here, in the supposedly bear-free Hawaiian wilderness. Bloody mystery, but no time for that kind of monkey business. I've got an event to wrap up. Oh yeah, that section is definitely going to be part of the show. More bear tracks! It's starting to play on my mind, to be honest. The presence of a bear here is theoretically impossible, but I don't know. There could be some mighty nature force at work here. As someone once said, life finds a way. All right, Pierce, focus. Here comes a bit of a cliff. My suspension felt that one for sure. Okay, that path is complete. Those bear tracks are still bothering me though, listeners. Pierce, old boy, you better watch your back.
There are only 2 events left, driver, with some big things still in store. The next event originally didn't get safety clearance when Pierce pitched it to Motorfest after his test run. But he got them to come around. He's a passionate man. We're talking about a volcanic race with a very hefty vehicle and some out-of-control sections. Stay safe. you are. Hope you enjoy the race as much as Pierce's feedback. Looks like, yet again, he got himself caught in quite a situation.
Log, entry 8. I'm sure of it now. I'm dealing with a bloody bear. According to the news flash I managed to get, the big furry thing escaped from the Honolulu Zoo. He's tracked me all the way to the volcano. That Paddington's after me. Climb to the top. You want a piece of me, Teddy B? Come and get me up there. My machine is in dire straits. Come on, buddy. Don't let me down. He's right behind me. He's managed to follow me up here. Damn it, he's pressuring me. Going back down at full speed, no choice. All right, try to catch me now, you fat bastard. Good grief, my car almost ended up on its roof. To anybody listening, use a proper sturdy machine for this ride. Like a Hummer, or maybe a bloody tank. hell, this animal's not giving up. Maybe some sharp zigs and zags will catch him off guard. Wait for it. Sharp left. Now, to the right. That's it, I think I'm safe. Who's laughing now, bear boy? Bloody hell, I've been through some tough ones, but this... God damn, I can't believe it! He's back!
The last time you received a speeding ticket?
1 month ago.
Oh. Honest. Love that.
That is a story too.
Esa historia es que no te lo Maybe the next one.
Welcome back to Motorfest, the podcast. This is the show where I get to talk to some of the most daring motorsport athletes for their passions for all things speed, wings and wheels. And if you haven't already tried it, you can actually listen in whilst you're playing the game, the Crew Motorfest from Ubisoft. My name's Becky Evans, and in today's episode, we're talking to some serious all-terrain motorcycle
sounds like our good friend Piers was in a tight
World
spot
Rally
right
champion Luciano Benavides and his champion teammate Australian Daniel Chucky Sanders. These are absolute warriors on two wheels, most notably the KTM 450 Rally Factory. Not your normal motocross bike, and according to Daniel Sanders, it hops and barks like an angry dog. Guys, this machine is one to look out for and listen out for. It is totally kitted out with dunes, rocks, mud, and the brutal forces of rough weather and wilderness. That said, it's only as good as the person behind the wheel. And in this episode, Daniel and Luciano discuss everything from their first bike souvenirs, to crashes, to trophies, adrenaline, tips on how not to get lost in the desert, death-defying drops, and what it means to really risk everything. Dirt biking, just like any motorsport discipline, is all about balance, control, speed, agility, and physical endurance. But it's one sport where you definitely need to be prepared to expose yourself to all elements. There's no cockpit, no power steering, just a whole lot of body positioning and great suspension. And of course, no fear. Okay, let's start the show. Right, guys, I'm absolutely delighted to have you. Welcome to Motorfest, the podcast. So we're going to be jumping into this podcast today and talking about your
anyway,
KTM
back
450s.
to business.
I mean,
This
I'm
is
going to
your
let you
last
guys
chance
know
for
now, my
upright glory, and
experience
it's
on
bound to be
enduro
difficult.
bikes is limited
You'll
and has
have to
often
keep
ended in
control of a
some
fast
painful
rally
moments.
car
I actually broke
through
my
the
hand as
narrowest
I caught
parts
a
of
tree
Hawaii.
as I was coming
This
past
is
it.
the
So
final
I have
event of this
absolute respect
Motorfest
for what you
series,
guys do
and
here.
it's a banger.
You know, I'm just going to jump straight into it with you guys. If you could be a car, a plane, a boat, or a motorbike, which one would you be and why? I feel like this is going to really tell me what kind of guys you are.
And motorbike 100% because it's the best thing ever.
And Daniel?
I was thinking a plane because it's, you know, there's no impact really. There's turbulence, which is rough, but I'd still go the motorbike because I like hitting the ground and feeling pain, so it's brutal.
Luciano, when you started riding, did you ever think that you would end up competing in the Dakar, or was that always the goal?
No, honestly, when I started super young, and then I remember I watched Dakar at my hometown, Salta in Argentina, and I remember we went there with my family and friends. We camped one night, and then we watched Dakar passing the next day. It's like a famous canyon where the Dakar was passing there, and I remember watching the top guys in the bikes. It was amazing because when I saw that race, the atmosphere, the adventure, I said, for sure I want to be there one day. But at the moment I was racing enduro, and since then I say, okay, I will do my best to try to be there one day. But at that moment I was feeling a little bit quite far, and yeah, with the time was coming, and came the opportunity from KTM, and then yeah, I joined the rally team, the rally program, and then I did my first Dakar in 2018. Was my first. I had 22 years old, so I was quite young for Dakar, but yeah, it was a long road.
I want to hear about your first memory that you can actually remember of getting on a bike. Daniel, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, Christmas morning, I think, throwing on the helmet and the new goggles and new glove, and sitting on the bike for the first time, and pretty scary because straight away I started on a bike with the clutch and gears. It wasn't an automatic bike, so yeah, my dad put me straight in the deep end, and you just had to learn how to swim and ride. And it wasn't on a flat property. We live on some hills and grass, so it was pretty scary to learn
You're
the clutch.
here, the last part of Pierce's adventures.
Yeah, the throttle action as well.
I'm not
so
going to spoil anything for you,
cool,
but
yeah, the whole
I
handlebars
do have one
and
question.
And
Do all humans talk to bears?
The bicycle that you ride as a kid, a BMX or something, and having an engine do the work for you, and it's all in the palm of your hand, so push the throttle. That's probably the cool, easy sort of adrenaline thing that I got to learn that day, and have that feeling, the first feeling of controlling my own power, I guess. So that was pretty cool morning.
And Luciano, your earliest memory of getting on a bike for you, was it with your big brother or was it with your dad?
Yeah, my first memory is one race, my first race. I remember, I think it was me and probably 3 or 4 more guys from my home. And then I remember I started the race and I crashed. And when I crashed, I was completely lost. And then I remember that I picked up my bike super fast, and when I started again, I was 10 times more motivated than before, and I passed the other guys, and they were actually faster than me. But then because I crashed, I had so much motivation to come back from that. And then yeah, it was a super cool memory because I had also the first trophy from this race. And I remember the adrenaline that this race gave me was something super special.
Would it be correct saying that you guys both lived in quite rural areas, so it kind of helped give you a type of terrain that you could train on?
Yeah, like I lived on like 40 acres on the house, and so that and grass and hills and stuff. So, and then I was fortunate enough that we had like 300 acres of bush.
Pierce's log, entry 9. Holy marmalade, another eventful night. That bear eventually caught up with me. Such a resilient opponent. You've got to respect that. But hey, you know what? He turned out to be quite the nice fella. Once we got past the silliness, we really got on like a house on fire. We've got a lot in common, actually. Anyway, we chatted over a fish supper, then went our separate ways. Vaya con Dios, my runaway friend. Live free, I say. To work, our very last trail. I started way up in the mountains, and I'm currently going wild on the descent. This will undoubtedly call for a fast yet versatile vehicle. Comes to mind is the Audi S1 EKS RX Quattro, a 600 HP four-wheel drive. A car that goes like the blazes but still thrives in the tightest of curves. My word, this is going to be spectacular. Log entry 9. Holy marmalade, another eventful night. That bear eventually caught up with me. Such a resilient opponent. You gotta respect that. But hey, you know what? He turned out to be quite the nice fella. Once we got past the silliness, we really got on like a house on fire. We've got a lot in common, actually. Anyway, we chatted over a fish supper, then went our separate ways. Vaya con Dios, my runaway friend. Live free, I say. Back to work, our very last trail. I started way up in the mountains, and I'm currently going wild on the descent. This will undoubtedly call for a fast yet versatile vehicle. First thing that comes to mind is the Audi S1 EKS RX Quattro, a 600 HP four-wheel drive. A car that goes like the blazes but still thrives in the tightest of curves. My word, this is going to be spectacular. Looks like I get to enjoy a final glimpse of that beautiful Hawaiian jungle. Gorgeous. That's it. Got all I need for Volume 2 now. Time for a well-deserved break. Maybe I'll go to the cinema tonight. I hope iRide is still showing. journey. We're through, listeners. Until our next adventure, peace out.
The podcast continues.
There's a reward vehicle waiting for you.
Yeah, like I lived.
Well done, driver. That was a rough one. As you've seen, even the most seasoned specialist wouldn't get out of this playlist unscathed. Yep, and that's an understatement. Anyway, you managed to tame the wilderness once more, and that calls for a reward. You know the drill. Drive, container, get your prize. rain are right ahead. This time, we got you a special edition of the Jeep Wrangler. Your off-roading addiction just took a turn for the worse. Let's give the new playlist a spin. A new playlist means new adventures, driver. Two bulls face each other proudly in the Maui sun, symbolizing the intense speed clash that awaits you. What do you think? This was generated by a cousin of mine. I'm not great with poetry, but talking to you about playlists, now that I can do. Motorfest takes on the colors of Red Bull, the most energetic brand in motorsport. They've been investing in iconic racing disciplines for decades, teaming up with the most successful manufacturers. But they also sponsor more than 500 extraordinary athletes who represent the brand in their respective sports. We can't introduce them all to you, but our playlist host, Becky Evans, went to meet some of them in her show, Motorfest, the podcast. They're all specialists in the various motorsports you're about to enjoy. Meet us at our brand new playground at the summit of Maui, a world of molten lava and burning rubber. This one comes from my software. I couldn't help myself. Stand by. always at your disposal. All right, let's move to the next objective. Two bulls face each other proudly in the Maui sun, symbolizing the intense speed clash that awaits you. What do you think? This was generated by a cousin of mine. I'm not great with poetry, but talking to you about playlists, now that I can do. Motorfest takes on the colors of Red Bull, the most energetic brand in motorsport. They've been racing disciplines for decades, teaming up with the most successful manufacturers. But they also sponsor more than 500 extraordinary athletes who represent the brand in their respective sports. We can't introduce them all to you, but our playlist host, Becky Evans, went to meet some of them in her show, Motorfest, the podcast. They're all specialists in the various motorsports you're about to enjoy. Meet us at our brand new playground at the summit of Maui, a world of molten lava and burning rubber. This one comes from my software. I couldn't help myself. Becky's on.
Hi boys and girls, Becky Evans here. I'm joining Motorfest for this new playlist, and I didn't come alone. Red Bull sets up at the summit of Maui on a playground dedicated to every possible racing discipline. We love it. In this playlist, you get to become a pro at every discipline and find out which discipline is the best. Can a motocross bike beat a rally car? Can an AGP beat an aeroplane? It's up to you to take on the craziest challenges and answer the questions that everyone's asking. And I won't be the only one hosting this playlist. Motorsport stars will join us and give you all of their tips and stories. It's shaping up nicely.
of discipline starts now. To get the full experience, check out Sounds of Red Bull, the new track list in the music player. Let's see what's coming up. This Red Bull playlist with a rallycross race. Let's see how the Ford Puma Hybrid will fare against other rally monsters like the Audi Quattro, the Citroën C3 or the Focus RS. But before that, we take a look at Motorfest, the podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to Motorfest.
Welcome to the Red Bull Playground, boys and girls. Becky Evans here, improvising as the voice of the playlist. Ray Waller, the official voice of the festival, is bedridden, but don't worry, he'll be back soon. I'll be commentating on what you see, and don't blink because things are going to happen fast. Entering a tunnel for the first time. Now they have to adapt their driving to the tarmac. It's a cross-terrain race, just like this playlist, mixing all the disciplines of racing. ladies and gentlemen. I've always wanted to say that. In my last podcast, Timmy Hansen explained how essential it is to gather enough speed, keep the nose up, and land flat for a successful jump. Woohoo! Looks like this one listened to the podcast. Today, I see the Audi S1 EKS RX Quattro, the 2016 World Champion, has started in first position. But the big surprise, undoubtedly the Ford Puma Hybrid Rally 1, the brand's first electrified rally car.